I'm going to show you now how incredibly simple and intuitive Carrara is to create 3D content. This is a very intuitive program, and I think just about anybody can use it. I really love it. First thing we're going to do is open Carrara, and then you'll see a little tutorial screen. This is a great place to start and get to know Carrara and some of the things it can do. It's really quite helpful. Now we're going to fill this screen up really fast. So the first thing you do is you go up to File and press New, and then you get the wizard screen. Now here you have presets, lighting presets, the landscape wizard, and an empty scene, so you can select any one of those. And up here I'm going to show you all the different 5 rooms that come with Carrara, starting with the assembly room, and then you have the modeling, storyboard, texture, and render rooms. So let's okay, down here, I'll get into this later in later tutorials. It's not that important right now. So let's select ourselves a landscape. Now there's several different preset landscapes you can select, and you can there's different things, the shaders, the skies, the settings, but we'll keep it simple and we'll just select the Dream Island Beach. There you go. It's the assembly room is filled with this landscape, and over on the left hand side over here we have the camera controls. There's different trackings, there's different tracking tools, and there's a pan tool and a dolly or orbit tool, and that helps you to move around and manipulate objects within the assembly room. Up here we're going to drop in a primitive shape, and there's all the regular primitive shapes up here, and we'll put in a sphere, and then I'll show you how easy it is to use this primitive shape and to actually change the shape or model the shape in the next room, which will be the model room. So we'll get this set up here, and then we'll click on over to the model room, and that's how easy Carrara is. You just basically drop your elements or click your elements into the assembly room and start working, changing them. Like right here you can see the transform tools. So there's the regular tools like move, scale, rotate, orbit. Then you can add an IK chain, and it's really fast and simple, and you can arrange all of your models and props and elements very quickly and manipulate them very easily. And I'll talk more about this later. So so let's get over to the model room, right, which is this one right here. And the first thing you're going to see is that we are working with a primitive modeler, and we want to change it to a vertex modeler in order to manipulate the vertexes. So you basically just click on vertex modeler and click, and there you go, the sphere in its original form, not the one that was transformed, but the full sphere. And make sure we're in regular selection mode. And basically, if you use soft selection, which is right down here, click on that, you'll see that we can influence a lot of vertices at once, and that enables you to dramatically change the shape very quickly and turn it into something else. I'll just do something very generic, and now you can see if we go back to assemble, there it is. We've already created, or let's say modeled, a sphere, and the changes are reflected in the assemble room, so that's not so bad. This is very intuitive, quick, and easy. Okay, now this is the storyboard room, and I'll get into more about this later, but this is how you can conceptualize your stories. But anyways, let's go to the texture room. This is pretty important, and also actually very easy and intuitive. You have two kinds of texturing. You can do procedural texturing, which is computer generated textures, or you can add hand painted textures with UV mapping. There's a whole lot you can do here, and we'll get into that later. But just to show you how to reach all of your elements, you press on instances down here, and you'll see your entire scene and all the different instances. So if I press on terrain, there's the textures for the terrain, which is a procedural texture, and you can change that any way you want, but we'll get into that later. But it's pretty straightforward, really, and there's different settings there. So now we're into the render room, and this is where all the magic happens. Now the render room has a lot of different parameters which look daunting but are actually pretty easy to work with. And up here we're rendering a photorealistic render, but you can do non-photorealistic or a draft for quick rendering. And then there's all kinds of settings like ray tracing and just a lot of things we'll have to go through and explain later. But this is really a complex and efficient way to go. And they also have like global illumination for really realistic rendering, or let's say caustics for rendering perfect glass, and motion blur and so many other things. And then you also have the output panel, so you can change the width and height, the resolution, and all that kind of stuff of your image. You can also use or you can render images, just single images or entire movies, and these settings have the usual file extensions, and here we have the different kinds of movies. And what I really like is that you can create sequenced images where you can render out at the highest resolution and manipulate later in Photoshop, and then recreate or create a movie from those sequenced images using QuickTime, for example, and creating really, really high quality imagery. You can also change the FPS, and this is your progress statistic panel, which is really good if you're doing animations, because it will basically tell you the progress of the resources you're using, how long it will take, and that's kind of handy to know how long your renders will take, especially if it's animation. So if you click down here on the render in new window button, you get your render. There it is, and you can see how fast, and you can see how fast Carrara renders images. It's really quite amazing. Yeah, so I can change the resolution up here, or the width and height, and all that kind of stuff, and whatever I want. So as you can see, it is a very fast and easy, intuitive process to create stunning imagery. And the potential is really amazing. With I love the renderer, and I love the quick and easy way you can create 3D art, and it's a great program, and it's cheap, so enjoy.